Hey everyone, and welcome into a special edition of the Luchador Podcast, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. We love Academy. He's Billy Liucci. I'm David Nuño. We'll talk a lot about Academy throughout the week, but we are trying to get this episode in because travel reasons. We don't know when we can connect tomorrow, so we wanted to make sure we got some content in right after the game. Billy, 41-40 victory, a game that I felt like everything was going wrong, and then everything went right.
I mean, it was a weird game from the standpoint of, how it started with the block punt and felt like Notre Dame, I think they went up, 17-7. They had chances to take control early. There were a couple of drives where I was going, A&M's got to have a stop here. A&M's got to have a score. You felt, David, the whole time that A&M had a real shot to win the game because of the guys that were touching the football. And I thought, Marcel was under some pressure, but generally the protection was great. So he had time to get the ball to those playmakers, and they were too much for Notre Dame to handle. It got dicey there at the end, the 2 false start penalties, and then you creep up to fourth down, and that 10 yards I think is the hardest. When you're first and goal at any point in the game from right at the 10, but to have to do it with the game on the line like that. It was, it got a little dicey there at the end, but I just thought Marcel was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I think Colin Klein, people need to really, the same people that all offseason were questioning it, probably need to put their hand up and say I was wrong. That the game he called I thought was spectacular. He absolutely obliterated and throttled Ash, the Notre Dame DC. That was the mismatch of the game that won it for A&M. But man, when Notre Dame botched that snap on the extra point, you saw that 6-point margin there. I thought that was it. A&M's winning this football game. I really thought so. When Bussey returned the kick for a touchdown, it gets called back, and part of you deep down was going, man, that's tough, but maybe you can drive down and not leave Notre Dame any time because this was a track meet. Obviously, you want the kick return, but in the back of your mind, I was like, damn, this does give them the chance to drive down and win this game with very little time left, and that's exactly what they did.
So last week, Cassius Howell gets your SEC Defensive Player of the Week. I got a feeling. I haven't looked at everybody else in the SEC, but Mario Craver's got to be in the mix of that, right? I feel like there's no other way. And Marcel Reed has entered the chat as well. He's got to get some love now.
There's a lot of so Mario Craver was brilliant from his. I mean that first quarter touchdown, sensational, and
that was Tecmo Bowl. That was amazing,
and such a massive play there on that final drive. You always need a play like that early in a drive. I bet the percentage of drives that succeed versus that don't, when you have one of those early kind of get the defense on their heels play. I mean, they still had a lot of yards. What would they have to gain? About another, that put them just inside the 40, I think. But it just got Notre Dame on their heels. He had them on their heels the whole game. Casey Concepcion was brilliant. Le'Veon Moss was really good. Those are tough, hard yards.
Yep.
Tough, hard yards.
And that might be the best secondary they face all year.
It might be. You never know in the SEC.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I said all week, Notre Dame's an SEC football team playing independent. But that's what Freeman's built, talent-wise, line of scrimmage. Their O-line was so much bigger than anything I've seen A&M play outside of, Bama, Georgia in the last few years. That is a massive, there's towering offensive line. And the defense gave up 40. They gave up 33. And it wasn't statistically, it was a bad night statistically. But I thought in some weird way,
it was big plays again, right?
But they held up against the running game like we said they needed to. Secondary, yeah, there were way too many blown holes in that coverage.
Yeah.
Way too many, and
also big runs, but
yeah,
but they neutralized them though.
But I'm not saying they played like really good run defense for the game, but they played really good run defense on a lot of those runs. You know what and that's how you contain an offense with Price and Love.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't, but they did just enough, is what I'm saying. But I think it was a learning curve game for him because all of a sudden that defense is on the field having to play physical as hell, knowing that missed tackles could cost you games. And I thought this was I don't know how to phrase it. It wasn't encouraging, but I feel like I saw something that defense can get better off of. They produced a big turnover, huge turnover there before halftime, and they didn't get the field goal. Or no, that wasn't when they get the pick. It was
the pick was before they made it a 3-point game.
Yeah. So right before, and then they almost got it back.
Right.
Got more points with the field goal there before halftime, but Cassius Howell almost made a game-changing pick there in the red zone. He read the play brilliantly, and I think the defense is going to end up being a solid unit. I know it's hard to say when you see your team give up 33 like that, and I think they'll see way better quarterbacks than Carr.
But I don't think he looked bad. He made some nice throws.
I thought he looked really good at times, a lot of the game. But I'm saying I think the Aggies will see better.
I agree with that.
But it was a team effort, though. Like it's a track meet. It is what it is. We talked about this. I've said this during the offseason that I thought A&M with these playmakers would have a team that if they had to win a shootout, they could. I just didn't think it would come when Texas A&M and Notre Dame played tonight. If you had told me it was going to be 21-20, I would have believed it. It's 41-40. But that is – I don't think this will be the last time that A&M has to win a game, let's say, in that 35, 33, even up to 4. I think they'll be in another couple – and it's fine because this offense, and I think it's that good. And there's a lot of things, David, a lot of people have to kind of reevaluate and recalibrate what they think of A&M, Marcel Reed, Mike Elko today, because what number 10 showed out there, like that was a Heisman Trophy type performance. I'm not saying, hey, let's vault him up, but I think this does. I said it this week. If A&M won and Marcel had a kick-ass game, you're going to see people now put him in the conversation. Would that be premature? Yes, just like I said it was when they did it with Nussmeier, just like I said it was when they did it with Mateer last week or whoever else they did it with. But Marcel on the field through 3 games, you saw him get ignored during the offseason, right? You saw people talk down on him during the offseason. He was good last year.
Yeah.
He deserved more credit this year than he was getting. He played hurt tonight. He got hurt on the targeting call. He came into the game where he had been hurt the week before. And what were his numbers? They were sensational.
Yeah, 17 of 37, 360, 2 touchdowns, the pick.
Yeah, 360 yards. How many yards rushing do you have?
He had 37 yards rushing.
So just at 400 yards.
And on the year, 9 touchdown passes and 1 pick.
Yeah, and a couple TD runs as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, his season statistics, but this game, 400 yards of offense, 3 touchdowns, and a game winner with essentially no time left.
Right.
Under pressure, double pumps, lays it up for his tight end, Nate Burkacher, the guy that everybody said, well, he's just coming in as a blocking addition. We've been talking him up all offseason that he can also make plays in the pass game. But, I mean, they're going to reevaluate Marcel versus, I think, on a night where DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions, on a day when Arch Manning was booed leaving the field in Austin at DKR by the Texas fans. Not knocking them, but just saying there was one guy that consistently got passed up and had people, Lenore Sellers got hurt in that game. They lost to Vandy, 30-7 tonight? South Carolina lost to Vandy. It was, yeah. And so I'm pretty sure you can look that one up. I think it was 30-7 would be. But if you're breaking down SEC quarterbacks now, where does Reed rate? He's right up there near.
Well, he has to move up. He has to.
No, he's right up there near the top. And who cares like where they rate him? But what I'm saying is his performance has to encourage you that much to say A&M might have one of the more dynamic.
And he missed some throws too.
Yeah. Well, he missed a couple that could have been long touchdowns. Yeah. And the one to Niblack, and who knows? Craver. Concepcion. It might have been a 97 yarder, but man, he made so many just badass plays tonight. Some great throws. I'm watching it down in the end zone again. He's letting his receivers make plays. Some of those throws he threw high, and those dudes just go up and get them. They get yak yardage. Bussy came to play again tonight. I'm really liking what we're seeing from him. And the O-line deserves a lot of credit. They stunk it up with the false starts. I mean, this is a tough environment, but that's got to be cleaned up. That could have cost you a football game. But as blockers, I thought they were really good, and they really did what you expected them to do coming in the season. With Reed, was he sacked once or none?
I think once.
It might have been, but yeah, the protection was there. They were able to run.
0 sacks.
Yeah, they were able to run effectively. That's one sack of Reed in 3 games, by the way. They were able to run it effectively. I thought everything about what they did was awesome. By the way, here's an interesting thing. Had the Aggies lost to Notre Dame tonight, not converted that 4th down, that would have been South Carolina, Auburn, Texas, USC, Notre Dame. 5 straight Power 4 losses.
Right.
0-5 and 5 straight Power 4 losses. Now the narrative on one lofted pass into the left corner of the end zone. Now the narrative is Mike Elko has not 1, not 2, but 3 top 10 wins in his first 16 games as head coach. Marcel Reed has 2 of those. Now your quarterback goes from now you start going, okay, let's talk. He did lead a game-winning drive against Auburn. He did lead one against USC. The defense didn't hold up. This time he just left no time on the clock, but he did it again. He's got that clutch gene. He showed it again today in front of the whole country. And Texas A&M, Elko said it too. Like you kind of need a game like this to kind of break the seal.
Yeah.
Say, okay, we can do this now. We can overcome a lot of adversity and still win. If adversity hits them in a game this season, and they don't win, they know they can bounce back. I think this was a real turning point. I'm not saying they're going to go run the table or anything. But by the way, can y'all hear this person singing?
It's terrible.
It's like the worst karaoke. I might go down there and show them how to do it.
It's that guy the Asian guy that used to sing on American Idol, whatever. He was real famous. You know what I'm talking about?
I forget his name. But no, so look, you look around the SEC, and this stuff's important, man. Like, there's not dominance in this league this year.
Right.
It's there for anyone. Texas, there's something going on there. They can't figure it out right now. And so that one, South Carolina, the way they lost today, LSU's keeps winning, but I don't think it's been, especially when you see Clemson now, like it hasn't been that impressive. Like I don't have LSU on some perch. Like you look at that schedule, and there are a lot of games that you all of a sudden are looking at going,
why not?
Why not A&M? Why not? And you might say, well, because their defense can't do that every week. I think the defense is going to get better. I think they made plays tonight that look like, okay, that's what I want. That's what it should look like. I get concerned about busting the secondary. I get concerned about not giving up the big plays and stuff. I get it. But I think you're starting to see this doesn't have to be a top 3 defense in the SEC or probably even a top 5 one for this team to win a lot of games. And everybody has their flaws. Mm-hmm. Everybody's got their flaws. The Aggies, David, go to a bye week off of a just enormous emotional victory that had to have just drained them physically, mentally. They get an off week. Auburn's got to go play at Oklahoma
Yep.
in a really emotional game for them with Jackson Arnold going back and all that. Then they have to come to Kyle Field. And you get Mississippi State in here. Florida's reeling. They come in. I don't know if Napier will come with them at that point. And then you go to Arkansas. So, I mean, this was a game that I felt like could swing this season. I didn't think they'd get to 9 without this one. Now I'm looking at it going, maybe it means more than that. Time will tell.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say is that I said it during the post-game show. A 7-5 team is really 1 or 2 plays away from being 9-3. And what this win does is not only does everything still on the table for you, but it makes every game another step for Coach Elko because he's exercised some demons each season, year 1 and year 2, and now we can add to that.
Well, David, I think more than anything, too, tonight, it needs to be said. The Aggies that traveled up here and that were hanging on every play, and man, it looked like here we go again, just going to go back, and they got to get better on the special teams. I mean, really, if you think about it, they had a punt blocked. They had a lot of a penalty on a punt where they had a punt run back a good ways against them. I'm talking about like just special teams. Kickoff return for a touchdown, called back on a holding penalty.
The punt to the one.
Punt to the one, missed the field goal before halftime. Randy Bond, though, gets a lot of credit. He nailed 2 really clutch kicks that they had to have in the second half, and neither one of those was an easy kick. But special teams got to get better. You got to get rid of, the pre-snap penalties almost cost them a game.
Yep.
But they persevered, and all the people that were here got to see that, and it's not cheap coming up here. There were so many Aggies. They were so loud, and Elko, Reed, and company rewarded them with victory. And, I mean, that we've made so many of these road trips, right? Aggie fans have done it so many times, and you go home empty-handed. But to come away with a win like that is amazing.
So we may get back together tomorrow. It's just going to depend on how travel works out, but we wanted to get this one in for you guys, and it'll probably be released in the morning. But an epic and historic night for A&M football, and a night that we'll all remember where we were when the catch was made from Nate Berkacher.
Nate Berkacher.
That's right.
Marcel Reed, 4th down to Nate Berkacher. I mean, an amazing, an all-time, and people ask me, where does this rank? I'm like, man, it feels like top 3 for me. Like, just excitement plus what it meant. It felt like a top 3. It's certainly a top 5. That play might be up there even higher than that.
Well, let's hope that the top 3 maybe moves down a little bit because that means they're playing for bigger.
No doubt. No doubt.
Thank you, Billy.
I do.
And thank you to everybody else.